It was as if somebody I knew very well had suddenly peeped out at me from a window in a strange place, where that face was the last I should have expected to see. It seemed to have nothing to do with the personality of Nat Tyler himself. He was a clergyman, and this was suggestive of anything but divinity. It conveyed a profound, fascinating wickedness. It was as old as the pyramids, yet riotous with vitality. Perhaps I ought not to speak in this way of a thing which belonged to imagination. This reverend young gentleman's life had always been open as daylight, and more than blameless, apostolic. His family was as old established as my own, and I had known of him long, though our first personal meeting was recent. Nothing diabolic, therefore, could justly be inferred from what I have mentioned. Call it just a grotesque notion of mine. I'm sure nobody but I had noticed it, not even Topham Brent, who might not have been unwilling to detect anything objectionable in my reverend crony. Topham was not so wise then as he is now, and may not have known that women are often attracted by what ought to repel them. Some women. I confess I was on the lookout for that satanic drama in Tyler's eyes, and enjoyed the little fillip it gave me. By no word or gesture did Tyler himself betray consciousness of his peculiarity. We discovered that we both had queer books, antique lore about witchcraft and the like. This gave us common ground, and, what was more to the point, uncommon too. Imagine us side by side in our reclining chairs on a moonlight evening, with the calm watery expanse far and near, and a dark line of low shore on the horizon. Yonder the red reflected light of a fisherman's dory. Around one corner of the deckhouse, the giggle and babble of Jack Peters entertaining Anne, and her brief rejoinders. Round the other, occasional smoke drifts from the excellent cigar Topham was smoking. Inside the house was the placid silence of the benign old Pleasances, reading magazines to themselves. Tyler, in his agreeable murmur, is speculating in my ear on the origin of evil. Thomas Aquinas says that angels, white and black, can change men into beasts permanently. Enchanters could do it too, but not for long. 17th century witchcraft affirmed that certain natural objects and rites could produce strange effects without aid of God or devil. But the operator must renounce God and Christ, be rebaptized, trample on the cross, and be marked in a certain way, a symbolic transaction. The person could then do only evil. Good was forbidden to him or her. "Do you believe people can be changed into beasts?" I inquired, as if we were talking of the weather tomorrow. "Spiritually, I know they can be, and we often notice the resemblance of someone to an animal. Well, if, as the poet Spenser says, soul is form and doth the body make, why mightn't the body of a man with the soul of a hog assume, under favourable conditions, hoggish lineaments? I wonder. But what are the favourable conditions? His own persistent will, or dominating suggestion from another." Here there was the creaking of a chair, and Jack came grinning round the corner. "Say, parson, here's Anne says there are ghosts, and I'll leave it to you. Are there?" Anne, with her inscrutable smile, appeared in the background. "Ghosts, yes, but can we see them?" returned Tyler. "Ask Dr. Brent." "How about it, Doc?" Jack called out. "We're on our way to 13 Mile Beach to find out," answered Topham's voice, with a whiff of cigar smoke. "I'll bet a dozen pairs of gloves to a cigarette we don't see one." Mr. Pleasance put his head out of the window. "12:15, folks. Wife and I are going to bed." "Run along, Mr. Peters," said Anne. The currents were mixed, and we all stood up. Tyler and I, however, found ourselves leaning over the taffrail at the front of our old vehicle as it slowly pushed its way through the liquid wilderness. The moonlight fell upon his aquiline features as he faced towards me, and I involuntarily watched for Satan. "I wish we could have met sooner," he remarked. "I've longed for stimulus and companionship in my researches. Such things are perilous when one goes alone. The absolute evil. Is there such a thing?